Welcome, Janice Daugharty.
Thank you, Deborah Davis.
I'd like to ask you questions about going through the change. I'd like to hear you talk about it. We have other tapes that discuss each of the stories, but I'm curious about the book as a whole, how it came to be, how it was accepted, how you felt about it.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay. As my first book that was sold, I mean, you can imagine how excited I was. I was probably on my 19th novel at the time, working probably beyond that. I mean, I don't think it was 19th at all. So I was writing all the time, going through the change. I had so many stories that I was working on, but nobody was buying my stories. I couldn't even get a story published. I think I had one somewhere, but it was something I'd like to go back and get and destroy now. But going through the change, the stories that are in there, it was so exciting to me because that's my first sold book, and the stories that were in here were very much culled and selected and pared down to fit into this wonderful little book to me. Joyce Carol Oates bought this book, and I've told that story so much, but Joyce Carol Oates, I had sent her a story thinking Ontario Review, which is her lit journal, probably wouldn't be interested in anything so Southern, and actually it was in Southern dialect at that. I think it was Living Lessons, and she liked it, and she was going to use it, and she and her husband have Ontario Review in this press, Ontario Press, and so she asked for another, then I sent her the story, Going Through the Change, which is the story where the book gets its title from, is that story, and she liked that too, and she asked for a collection. At the time I was working at a library in Lake Park as a librry manager, trying to quit writing. Because I felt I was never going to get
trying to
quit.
writing.
It was like breaking this horrible
like
habit.
smoking.
It was, you know, I wasn't doing too good because I'd write all day on the job. I was a bad librarian. But I wrote a lot, you know, and I talked to people about literature, but I didn't do anything else. It was kind of a part-time job, and so they bought the collection, and I was just ecstatic to have one book. And then a couple of weeks later, Dark of the Moon was bought, also by a small press in Texas. This is the paperback. HarperCollins bought the paperback rights in this paperback. We don't have a copy of Dark of the Moon hardcover right now because it's so popular you can't keep it in the library, right? But so actually the novel came out, was published first because it sells better. Novels sell better than short story collections. You can hardly give them away.
Oh.
Or mine. But anyway, that's how it came to be, and I had two books come out in '94.
Starting with a bang.
Starting with a bang.
You think you gave people pretty high expectations of your productivity there?
Yeah, I did, and that was in some ways a mistake because a lot of editors have commented that I'm way too prolific, particularly for small presses. That it's okay with Harper if I did, and if I came out with a book every year, and I did, that was fine. But with the small presses, they don't like that. You can't do that. And besides, it also makes you look like you're not very serious about what you write, that you're just doing formula fiction. But the truth was that all of these books had been written, with the exception of Like a Sister, Just Doll, and Whistle. They'd already been written, or partially written at least, in longhand. I always have them in longhand. I have one coming out, another one burning in my soul. So that's the way I always think
and
of it.
scribbled down on little tiny pieces of paper in a corner somewhere.
Absolutely. You have those.
I have those little pieces of paper.
Yes.